Javelin have just completed the 2021 Identity Fraud Report, a survey of 5,000 consumers and the impacts of fraud, identity fraud, and scams over the last 12 months. During this period, we saw a massive 56 billion in fraud losses. 13 billion of that was in identity fraud. Fraudsters leveraged the opportunity of the COVID-19 pandemic to target in new and nefarious ways. Traditionally, we've seen a lot of credit card fraud. What we learned this year is that the fraudsters are tracking where the consumer trends are going. The consumer trend is going into peer-to-peer payments and digital wallets. In 2020, 53% of all millennials and 48% of the Gen Zs were significantly impacted by identity fraud and scams. Millennials, they would target them with robocalls and texts. Gen Zs were targeted in their most comfortable medium, which is social media or peer-to-peer payments. And more familiarly, everybody's heard of the car warranty scams that fraudsters were targeting boomers about. We also learned in the study that consumers are trusting biometrics more than passwords as a form of identification, verification, and authentication. Biometrics such as a fingerprint, a facial recognition, or a retina scan are preferred over traditional methods such as passwords or knowledge-based questions. By adding a biometric to the verification process, it could slow things down, but customers have told us that they trust that more, and that friction is okay. Customer experience is something that we all greatly care about. Consumers are driving us to adapt accordingly. We learned through the study that 38% of consumers will close their account following poor customer experience as a result of a fraud event. As businesses in the identity category, we have a responsibility to protect our consumers against the risks of fraud scams, and identity fraud. Consumers expect us, particularly their financial institutions, to provide them with the tools that will protect them and their assets. They are prepared to give up time and have a little bit of friction in that experience in order that they may be protected.